everyone, it's Kate, and today I am finally here to bring you the long overdue Where the Heck Have I Been and What's Been Going On video. If you remember, if you were following me a couple of months ago, I left off around the end of November, early December, with my November check-in and December budget with me. So I'm gonna pick up where I left off there and just walk through the months and kind of explain what's been going on. There has been a lot going on and it's pretty complicated, which is why I haven't been filming. It's just been easier to get through everything. But now that we are on the other side of the events, we are good to go and start heading in the right direction again. So let me fill you in so we can pick up in the right spot. Okay. I'm going to go to December. We did do a budget with me video, but I never did a follow-up with all of the budget results for December. December was a really, really good month. Obviously, I had a lot of bonus money coming in. I got like a $1,500 bonus for work. We had some Christmas money from like parents and stuff. But then also I had both my full-time job and my Etsy shop had really taken off at this point. Black Friday was the kickoff of my shop's life, really. And ever since then, it has been enough to be considered a full-time job. So in December, we ended up with a total income of almost $9,500, which was amazing. And we put about $3,300 of that towards paying off our debt balance. If you remember or were following, back in October is when this journey kind of started. Oops, I think I have it in here. And we started out with, I think, like $13,000 on the card. Let me see if I have it here. Yes, so the starting balance of our card when we really started to do things more the Dave Ramsey way and attacking our debt aggressively, the balance was a little over $13,000. So November, I think we paid off about $2,500. Oops. And let's see. Oh, you'll notice what I did was I combined my deluxe monthly pages with life planner pages, and that's why we're skipping into weeks all of a sudden. Okay, so back to this. December was a pretty good month, as I said, and we even stayed under in most of our budget categories, and we only went a little bit over. But that was okay, considering how much money we brought in. On to January. Now, because my shop had gotten so busy, I was really getting very burnt out. At the end of December, I spoke to my boss and said that I wanted to step back from my full-time salaried position and go more part-time subcontracting. What that ultimately looked like, I didn't really know, but I knew I couldn't keep up with both at the same time. So we agreed that I would continue to work full-time through January, and beginning in February, I became a subcontractor, and I'll get into that moving forward. But for here, I have almost 2 full-time incomes, and so the total income for January was almost $7,500. Which was amazing, but I was very burnt out. And let me tell you, that was not something that would be sustainable. Let's see. Our budget categories, we were a little bit over in, but we did end up paying over $2,300 towards our credit card payment. And at this point, I had gotten the balance all the way down to $4,000, which is amazing because it was up at $13,000 at the beginning of October. I had this little chart on our fridge, and every time I made a payment and reached a milestone, I was marking off the dates. So that was really motivating, but as you'll see in February, things kind of took a little turn. I'm trying to take a look here and see if there's anything else that I really need to mention before I move on. I don't think so. We had our property tax bill in January, our town tax bill, and that we just cash flowed because of the amount of income that we had coming in. I think that pretty much covers it. All the fun stuff comes in February. So, on to February. This was kind of a real transitional month. We had a very low actual income amount, and that's because of the switch to my subcontractor position instead of being salaried. And some other things happened as well. So let me start with the income. So the only money that I made from my old job was one paycheck from like the last week in January. So this paycheck came in February, but it was from my last week as salaried. And then I also had a somewhat low income from the shop. I might have just withheld some of that money because the shop was doing really well this month. I actually, it was in January. I had to shut the shop down for a week so that I could catch up with open orders. That's how busy it was. So February, maybe things did slow down a little bit, but there are fewer days in February. Maybe that contribute to it. I don't know. Maybe I didn't have a release in February, something like that. Our grocery budget went way over. I must have bought something for the house, like furniture-wise or like decor-wise, for it to go that far over. So I don't really remember what that was. But February was a little tough with the income side, but because of the previous 2 months, we were okay because we must have had a huge buffer in the checking account. Now, you will notice that the credit card ending balance is back up a little bit. And here's where things start to go crazy. As I have mentioned in probably most, if not all, of my previous budgeting videos, my husband owns a business. He's a personal trainer and has a gym. Now, since about January or February of last year, 2018, we have been making plans and doing the work to move into a new space that is much, much larger. Between a couple of bad decisions on our part, and a lot of really bad luck on our part, really just a terrible combination of bad decisions and bad luck. The project dragged on for a really long time. We made a mistake in the contractor that we hired initially. That contractor took a lot of our money and ran. The next contractor that we got to take his place, things went wrong with that. They didn't do a good job at all. It was horrible. Things took months and months longer than they should have. And then we finally hit this point where we're like, we cannot keep bleeding money into this renovation. We need to get it done so we can get the business in there and we can start making money off of it. So we made the decision to fire the contractor we had and hire like a really legit company to do the renovation, which is great. They did a fantastic job, and I'll post some pictures here just to help you maybe justify, like help me justify what we've been through. But so along with the awesome contractor came a really large quote. So in February, when we hired these new guys, we basically came to the conclusion that we needed to stockpile as much cash as humanly possible. So what we started doing in February was putting all of our... Now, I am going to get so many critical comments for this, and I totally get it, and it's honestly why I have been putting off making this video for so long. I understand the criticism and people who are genuinely concerned, but rude comments will probably just get deleted. So we started putting all of our expenses on our credit card and keeping all of the cash that we had on hand. So that is why our credit card balance started to go back up in February. Into March, I actually started tracking our bills with these little bill pay stickers, which were very cute, and I still do this, but you'll see that in upcoming Budget With Me videos. So in March, you'll see I did eventually write down a budget. I think it was partway through the month, and like half-heartedly, like, I need to do this. And I did not record any actuals. Let's see. The income that we actually brought in for March would probably actually be this low. I stockpiled just about everything in a savings account for the renovation and only paid myself whatever we absolutely had to pay with the checking account instead of the credit card, like our mortgage and my husband's Jeep. That comes straight out of our checking, so I probably paid us just enough to deal with that and paid for everything else with the credit card. I don't even have the total amount here for the credit card balance at the end of the month, but yeah, you even see here that's like our only goal is to stockpile cash for this thing. And just as a little bit of added explanation, at this point in the project, we were in way too far to just like back out. So that wasn't really an option at that point. Because I know that there will be some people that would say that we should have just cut our losses at that point, but yeah, anyway. Moving on to April. Again, I did write out a budget, but didn't really record any actual numbers. Okay, so at the end of March, beginning of April, we had $7,500 on the card, which makes sense. That's about $3,000 in expenses. Yeah, and here I'm just kind of noting all of the live off of the credit card and that sort of stuff. I don't unfortunately have much more information, except apparently at this point I had about $15,000 in savings for this renovation invoice that we had to pay. Let's see. And by the way, moving forward, the gym stuff is going to be not really discussed. It's really difficult to explain what we've been going through without talking about it. But moving forward in future budget videos and future debt videos, we're not going to be touching that area of our finances because it's my husband's private business. So that will be shrouded in mystery going forward. Okay, so in May, again, I didn't even write down a budget. I think I was going to write out a weekly check-in on this page, apparently. These are still in pencil. I had totally just stopped caring at this point, and basically just promised myself that I would pick back up once we were on the other side of this, and that's what we're doing. But these last couple of months are really just bare, and I don't have a lot of information for you. Let's see, I take that back. I was going to open up the page where I had our debt tracker and check the credit card balance, but I don't want a lot of the information on that page to be shared, so. Okay, and in June, I didn't even do a layout for June. So that shows you how much we really cared at that point. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to my new life planner / deluxe monthly. So this is what I'm in now, and for July, that's what my monthly bill spread looks like. And so this is this month's budget, and we are actually pretty much on track. We're up, what's today, the 23rd, I think. We're about $30 over budget for groceries, but we should be able to make it to the end of the month without any more purchases. Maybe a couple really small ones, but that won't be too far over. For gas and auto, I did not see any transactions. I don't know if it's like we have legitimately not been using that much gas all month, but there's a really loud motorcycle outside. But I don't have any spending in this category tracked, so I'll have to double check everything at the end of the month, but we're definitely going to be under here. I know I haven't been using much gas. Let's see, personal money, I think we're actually under. Medical is probably around this, so we've had a couple of bills come in from things that weren't covered, so those will probably add up to what I budgeted here. I did make one major mistake. I forgot our $579 homeowner's insurance payment. It's an annual payment, and that's due in July. I totally forgot about it, which is really funny because I made a big deal on Instagram about making these year-at-a-glance stickers, and one of the very few financial things I have tracked is home insurance, and you'd think I would remember it, but apparently not. So we're going to be over for that because of that. Being under in a few of these categories, plus maybe paying myself a little extra, will make up for it. But we also had a decent buffer in the checking account, so that might help there as well. Thank you for joining me for this long, chatty update video. I hope you enjoyed and that you will join me again as we continue moving forward past this disaster of a few months that we've had. We are back on using our debit card instead of the credit card, and we will not be using that anymore, so things are moving in the right direction again. I look forward to seeing you soon in my August budget setup video. Thanks and have a great day. Bye-bye.